Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Texas.
Wow, boy, does it feel good to be back.
I cross into the state from the east at the weirdest Texas entrance I've ever seen. And don't worry, I paid my respects to Louisiana as well.
You know, a little swampy, a little abandoned looking. But this is a very special border. Right now, I am in Arkansas. I am now crossing in to Texas. But if I take a step this way, I actually end up in Louisiana. So foreboding, abandoned house, and gas station be darned. Here we come, Lone Star State. And look at this. Somebody left us a Bud Light. Sweet. Anyway, after that scenic introduction to Texas, I took a little rest, and now I'm back up in the morning,
Making my way down to Austin and San Antonio.
I've now driven over 1,120 miles on my way back to California. And even though it's a lot easier driving here on I-35 than it is on the back roads, I'm finding myself getting a little tired now. I need to pull over a little more often than I did a day or two ago. Luckily, Texas has got some great places to pull over.
Oh my gosh, there's a Buc-ee's here now. Look at this. Look at the size of it. You'd think we'd pulled up to Walmart or something. Look how many people are here. And look how many gas pumps.
Yeah, fill her up on pump number 420.
Geez, that's barely an exaggeration. Just look how many ice machines they have.
Oh, and look,
It's Buc-ee the Beaver, and he's wearing a mask. Again, it's more like being in a Walmart than a gas station. Look at this, they got clothing over here.
home goods and bath bombs.
It's the biggest convenience store I've ever seen in my whole life. And best of all, you can now find Buc-ee the Beaver's face on everything. This is incredible. Back when I used to be on tour with the band all the time, we loved stopping at Buc-ee's.
But at the time, the only Buc-ee's I knew of were over towards Houston more.
When I lived in Dallas in 2003, we'd come down I-35 all the time, and there was sadly no Buc-ee's here back then.
They definitely had the stuffed Buc-ee's, but I don't remember the Buc-ee's underwear.
Now this place is like a tourist attraction in its own right, and there's tons of them compared to how many there used to be. Oh my gosh, hats, blankets, frisbees. There's even Buc-ee's pants, pajamas, and dog toys, and tote bags, and also a heck of a lot of toy guns.
Well, we are in Texas.
I really want a Buc-ee's pillow. Not sure that Allie would like having that on the couch though. Oh my gosh, the size of this place. Well, they say everything is bigger in Texas.
It's true. Even the wind chimes are bigger.
Alright, it's a hard choice between the taco and tortilla set or the coonskin cap.
Artificial, of course. Buc-ee would never betray his raccoon friends.
Oh gosh, I love this place. Oh my gosh, I've got to get these. Sadly, I didn't get a Buc-ee's chair or crawfish washer.
But I did manage to pick up quite a big batch of swag, including a Buc-ee's cooler, since I have no cooler with me, some Buc-ee's coffee for back home, and a Buc-ee's coffee mug.
Not to mention, since I'm starting to get a little lonely, I've got a new friend here.
And of course, let's not forget my sweet new hat. I was just thinking as I've been driving down the highway how much things have changed since the old days. I mean, compare Buc-ee's to this next stop.
Here you have back-to-back old school gas station buildings.
Who knows how old that one is?
This one is an old restored Magnolia gas station built in the 1940s.
I mean, 100 years ago, there were barely any gas stations.
So in less than a century, we've gone from this type of thing here with maybe 3 pumps, or most likely only 2 pumps, and then probably an oil pump in the center, to the madness of something like Buc-ee's. Oh, look at this. Here you go. Here's some oil pumps right there. That's right. You used to have to pump out the oil.
Which is why oil used to come in clear glass jars so you could see how much they filled it up.
Wow, that is beautiful. Right along the side of I-35 here in, what is it, J-Rail? You never can tell. Imagine though, pulling up here and getting a uniformed guy
coming out to pump your gas or top off your oil.
They were telling me it used to be a bus station as well.
It's like my favorite type of stuff, to stop and talk to the people in there. I'm already way behind schedule on this short trip, so I don't have as much time for that as I would wish. But I just realized back at Buc-ee's, I had driven a little over 1,200 miles, and I now have a little over 1,200 miles to go to get home. Which means I'm halfway there, so that's good. But of course, I can't come through Texas without seeing some
epic Texas landmarks. Of course, the Alamo, the cradle of Texas liberty, is probably the best Texas landmark. And I am hoping to get there today. That's why I had to get the coonskin cap. But there's another epic Texas landmark I've never seen anyone post about, and I happen to know where it is. It's the inspiration for one of the settings of my favorite Texas TV show of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the real-life Strickland Propane. According to some very obscure propane gas magazines back in the 90s, Action Propane here in Leander, Texas was one of the main inspirations for the look of King of the Hill's Strickland Propane. The King of the Hill design team came here and took a look at the place, asked a bunch of questions, and of course they also visited some other propane places like American Propane in Austin, which is closed now. But just looking at this place, look at the giant tank out front. This is Action Propane. It's just like the Strickland Propane in King of the Hill. Even the building is extremely similar. And yes, not only do they sell propane, but they also sell propane accessories. The owner in here was explaining to me that not only were the writers here, but they used her husband's name as the name of the Texas Propane Commissioner, Murray Hogarth, in the show.
Texas Propane Association Commissioner Murray Hogarth, personal friend.
This is amazing. I want to buy a Char King. I've got to get something from here. Ah, a spatula. I'm buying a propane accessory.
Those are propane accessories, and you will treat them with respect.
Wow, dude. I held in most of my really weird questions. I wanted to ask where Enrique was, or the Propaniacs next show, you know, but I did manage to buy a propane accessory. Mrs. Hogarth in there was so friendly and talkative. Apparently, during the show, Mike Judge was a customer of Action Propane. So not only did they draw inspiration for a character from this place and the look of Strickland Propane, but Mike Judge, Hank Hill himself, got his propane, and I'm presuming his propane accessories, from right here. She says they've had a few looky-loos over the years, not too many, so if you do come by here, let's not turn their friendliness to unfriendliness. Make sure you buy some propane accessories. I love that they even have the little propane trucks just like on the show. This is amazing.
Bobby, what are you doing? Those are propane accessories.
Oh, I just wish Buck Strickland was here. God dang it, I'm having an infarction. King of the Hill is one of my favorite shows of all time. It annoys me to no end that it's a cartoon and there's no real life Hank Hill's house, but there's a real life Strickland Propane. Somewhere apparently there is actually a propane place called Strickland Propane. This is just the one they based the looks off of, and of course, some of the characters. They said they wanted to base a character off of Mrs. Hogarth. That's what she was saying. And she said, I told them where they could take their show. She still served Mike Judge propane though, so, you know, no hard feelings. That is freaking incredible. I will treasure this spatula forever. All right, I gotta go back to the car. I parked at 7-Eleven over here just because I wasn't sure if they were gonna be friendly or not, but they were actually very friendly once I explained what I was doing there. And now before I head onwards to the Alamo, I just have one more quick stop to make in Austin to see an old friend of mine. All right, I have landed in Austin. Look at that. There's the state capitol there, and here is the university where my friend Travis Stone is getting his PhD, right, eventually?
Yep, PhD, paleontology.
In what is it?
Paleontology.
Paleontology. Travis Stone, paleontologist. Nailed it. Are you gonna become a teacher one day, maybe?
Yeah.
So that means someday you'll be teaching and people will be Googling you and see us driving around on a train at Knott's Berry Farm.
Yep, and they'll be like Dr. Travis Stone, geologist, train person, random other stuff.
Epic. Look at this, we're hanging out in such a socially distanced way. We're so far apart from each other. I want to hug you so bad, but it just wouldn't be proper. I needed this. I got the Buc-ee's coffee back there, the whole tin of it, but there's no coffee maker in the car. Why isn't there a coffee maker in the car? Oh, listen to that. Crazy. Wow, look at the size of that Capitol building. And of course it's Texas, so There's the 10 Commandments. What were you saying? This is the tallest building in the world when it was built, or the fourth tallest?
It was the 7th largest by like volume and floor space when it opened, and it is taller than the U.S. Capitol. So
oh yeah, taller
Texas is bigger
than the U.S. Capitol. Everything's bigger in Texas. First Buc-ee's, and now this. Hang on, I'm just making sure. I don't know. Okay, I haven't done that. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Hamster once.
What'd you say?
Killed a hamster once. Does that count?
Oh, Travis, we can't hang out anymore. It's the law. All right, that was pretty fun to see a friend on the way home there for a second. I only stopped for like an hour and a half, and we just kind of walked around outside, but what an hour and a half? Because it's already dark. By the way, I love how Travis lives in the most California place. Next to a freeway, there's an In-N-Out here in Texas. Didn't have those here back in the day. There was even a little encampment under the freeway back there, so just like home. Weird. Anyway, now it's getting dark. Well, I'm way behind schedule. I've got to make my way down to San Antonio. I really need to get a good dose of sleep. I still have a long way to go, 1,200 more miles or 1,100, however many now. But if I'm gonna do the mega drive home, I'm gonna need to recharge first. Deep in the heart of Texas. Oh man, I had to stop. I needed Buc-ee's help again. I drank a whole bunch of that Beaver's coffee, grabbed myself a Dr. Pepper to boot. It just got so foggy and misty, and then there were some intermittent little splashes of rain, and I am getting really worn out. Even the exhaustion is bigger in Texas. All right, one final push, and then hopefully we can hotel and sleep well before we pass out on the road. No, I'm just kidding, but still, time to settle in, I think. Oh, I made it. Just barely, but I made it. I did not fall asleep on the road, didn't get too sleepy, and finally, I can rest. Wait a minute. I feel like I'm forgetting something. See if I can remember. What do I remember? I remember the Alamo. Wow. Look at that. The cradle of Texas liberty, as Cotton Hill called it. I made it. That is a thing of beauty. There's a lot of partying going on in downtown San Antonio, Texas at the moment. But over here, it's mostly peaceful, mostly quiet. Look at that. The first time I ever saw the Alamo, I think we drove like 12 hours or something, played a show, and then really late at night, we came and saw the Alamo, and then got dragged into this like haunted house attraction across the street, which we'll probably see more of tomorrow, but I was so tired, and I was like, what is even happening? Ever since I was in Tennessee like 3 days ago, I have been listening to an audiobook of the autobiography of Davy Crockett, who I believe, most witnesses say, was defending the Palisade. I think it was over on this side, right here, roughly where this line crosses the street, and that is where Davy Crockett was last reliably seen whipping up the men, defending the Alamo. Wow, the Alamo. Well, tomorrow, hopefully, if the crowds aren't too bad, I'll be able to get inside the Alamo in the morning. I think the last time I was in there was 2004, maybe 2005, and I didn't know any better, and I accidentally took a flash photo inside of the church. Whoa, big mistake. Oh, no photos are allowed inside of there. Whoops, I did not know. People were mad. Well, at least I didn't make Ozzy Osbourne's mistake. Goo. No, in all seriousness, no, the Mission San Antonio de Valero dates, I think, from 1724. Long time. And then, of course, there's the whole Battle of the Alamo, Santa Anna versus the Alamo defenders, and basically the rallying cry for the formation of Texas. There's a lot of history in this building, and also a lot of people gave their lives for Texas independence here, right where we're sitting, actually. So even though there's Guinness Book of World Records over there, and haunted adventures and crazy neon horse princess carriages, it's kind of a heavy place, especially because I've been doing a lot of research over the past couple of years about the historical Davy Crockett, and so I've read a lot about the Battle of the Alamo, and of course all the people who lost their lives here. So the stuff across the street doesn't fit, but this sort of misty, beautiful mood kind of does. This is weird though. I remember there being tall buildings straight behind it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just thinking of the ones that are next to it. The first time I saw it, I know there's a lot of controversy, like they want to tear down some of the buildings across the street because they're standing on what was part of the Alamo. A lot of stuff like that. They look old and brick. I don't know if they can move them, but it does make sense to me, you know, because part of the Alamo was right there that the guys defended. Anyway, I guess that's too much to go into tonight. I am very tired, very drowsy, but I did it. I officially remembered the Alamo.
I've done my duty. Now I can hotel and sleep well.
Make sure to check out the online store, the Patreon, all that kind of good stuff. There will be so many more Patreon podcasts when I get home. There's Instagram, there's all that stuff down below in the description. Then you'll have done your duty too.
Go home and sleep well.
Wow, dude, look at this. Wow, first look at this, the horse. That's not exactly what I was gonna show you. This is what I was gonna show you. Wow. San Antonio's Riverwalk. Look at that. That is crazy looking. No, I've never, ever been down there, even though I've been to San Antonio and the Alamo a bunch of times. We were always here to play a show, maybe take a quick pick at the Alamo. None of our friends from San Antonio, and we had quite a few, we stayed with them all the time, ever told us about that. I remember like in 2006 or 7, I was driving through here and I could see it from the street like this. Like, wait, what the heck was that? And my buddy, Eddie, that we stayed with a bunch of times, was like, oh, it's the Riverwalk. What? So it took me 20 years? 21 years since the first time I came to San Antonio. But I finally saw it with my own eyes. Wow. I'll probably go down there tomorrow. Just wanted to show you that at night. Look at that. They should never take those Christmas lights down.